Hey NBA fans, Jimmy Crowther here for NBA Now from Chat Sports. And if you didn't know already, we've got our Lakers only channel over at youtube.com/LakersTV. Laker fans, this Lakers Rumor Show went up there first. But if you're a fan of the rest of the NBA, stay tuned to find out what's going on with Laker Nation.
Coming up on Lakers Report, we discuss the latest on the NBA season and what Dwight Howard said on the NBA Players Call on Friday. Is Kyle Kuzma risking his career by playing in Orlando this summer? See what measures he and other young NBA players are pursuing to protect their futures. And our top story is on LeBron James. See the latest on the Lakers superstars' plans regarding the NBA season restarting next month. Coming up on Lakers Report right now. What's up, Laker fam? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Lakers Report by Chat Sports, all things Lakers. I'm your host, Hannah Kulik, aka Laker Han. Now, we've got an awesome show for you guys today. We have a lot to talk about, so let's just jump right into it because it was just last week when we were all celebrating that the NBA had officially announced that they would be returning July 30th, but now it looks like maybe they may be backpedaling a little bit. There are apparently a lot of players who are actually really concerned over the NBA's return, and on Friday night, Kyrie Irving led a players-only call where there were a lot of players, 80 players were on that call, including stars like Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, even apparently two of the Lakers players, Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard, expressed a lot of concern, not only just about coronavirus and about the entire situation in general of the NBA returning and playing in Orlando, but also because of what is going on in the world right now with the social justice reform in terms of the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that is happening. A lot of them felt Kyrie Irving very vocal. Again, he was the leader of this call. Felt that the NBA returning would just be a huge distraction for that, and this is really such a crucial time in the world. They really need to focus all of their energy into the Black Lives Matter movement and for social justice reform. Now, like I said, there were over 80 players on this call, so it wasn't just Kyrie Irving. There were, like I said, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, even Dwight Howard, Avery Bradley. Now, one player who was not on the call on the Lakers is LeBron James. He reportedly does not feel the same way. We're going to talk a little bit about that in just a bit, but I am curious, you guys, do you guys think with obviously everything going on in the world right now, do you think it would be smart for the NBA to make that return? If you do, type Y down below. If not, type N down below. Personally, for me, I think that they would be able to use this platform to only better the movement and even create more awareness. So I think it would be a good thing for the NBA season to return. I'm not even just being biased because, of course, as a fan, I want it to be. I understand this is a very critical, crucial time in the world right now, and a lot of people just maybe feel differently. So I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. But regardless of whether or not you want the NBA season to return, definitely make sure that you guys are subscribed here on Lakers Report. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I just wanted to remind you guys because there is always so much to talk about regarding our Los Angeles Lakers, and especially if the NBA does resume, which I am assuming it is going to be, then there is going to be so much to talk about, and I want to make sure that you guys do not miss a single second of it. So do me a favor and go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you have not yet done so. Now, like I just mentioned, LeBron James was one of the players who was not on the call and is actually pushing back against Kyrie Irving not wanting the NBA to resume. Now, LeBron James, as we all know, is 35. He really only has a few years left to be able to play in his prime, and who knows how long he's going to be able to play in general. He's kind of nearing the end of his career. Of course, this Lakers team was right on the cusp of winning a championship, winning a title. So he has a lot that he wants to return to, but also LeBron James has always been a leader on and off the court, you guys. He has done so much for the community, so much for just social justice in general, and he wants to be able to use this platform, the NBA's platform, in order to not only just play basketball and bring some joy back to the fans and get back to doing what he loves and what everyone loves, but of course to be able to make some serious change and to be able to make an impact. He believes that they'll be able to use the NBA's return as a platform for social justice change, so he wants to be able to do both. And personally for me, I agree with him. You know, like I said, LeBron James is always able to really raise awareness and spread awareness in his community. And I think being able to have such a big platform like the NBA with everyone watching, it really is that perfect stage, that perfect way to really continue moving forward in terms of social justice reform and the Black Lives Matter movement in general. Now, LeBron James has already taken steps to doing so. He's paired up with Hawks guard Trae Young. LeBron announced earlier in the week that he has started a voting rights group and hopes to be able to increase Black voter turnout and to end Black voter suppression. So, of course, LeBron James always doing he can to provoke positive change. And of course, with the NBA returning, I would expect nothing less. I really think that this would be a great chance for the NBA to be able to have an amazing stage to really provoke a positive change and continue the fight for social justice reform and continue raising awareness for the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, before I move on, because I do want to talk about some of the players who, of course, were on that call, and then, of course, give you guys up to speed on what the schedule would look like if the NBA does resume. I do want to remind you guys that we are having an awesome sale right here on some really cool Lakers items. So if you would like a Lakers face mask, you guys, all you have to do is go to chatsports.com/Lakers mask. Make sure that you are not only, staying safe out there, but you are always able to rep your purple and gold. So definitely take advantage of this awesome discount we have going on these really great Laker items. Now, if the NBA does resume, there are some timelines in terms of when players are going to have to return to their teams, when testing is going to begin, and then, of course, training camp and when the regular season is going to begin and all of that. So early June, mid-June, we were having players having to return to their team. Then they are, by June 22nd, going to be ramping up testing, starting the coronavirus testing. Then June 30th would be the beginning of training camp. Now, of course, then we have, moving on to the month of July, when things really start ramping up, we have July 7th. They would all head over to Orlando and start their little kind of quarantine, their kind of little bubble in Orlando. July 30th through August 14th would be the regular seeding games, and then August 15th, August 16th would be tournament games if they were needed, but then August 17th is when the playoffs would officially start. August 30th, we have when the family and the guests of the members would be able to arrive, and then we have August 31st through September 13th, the conference semifinals. September 15th through September 28th, we have the conference finals. And then, of course, September 30th through October 13th, we have the NBA finals. So if the NBA does return, this is the timetable of how everything will play out and what everything will look like in terms of dates and stuff like that. Now, obviously, the NBA is going to be moving pretty quickly, which is why some players have expressed some concern. So I'm curious, out of 1 to 10, on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you guys over the NBA returning? Let me know down in the comments below. But moving on to a player who did express some concern over the NBA returning, let's talk a little bit about Dwight Howard, because Dwight Howard was on that call that Kyrie Irving had a couple days ago with those 80 players, and he was pretty vocal in his concern over the NBA returning, not only because of coronavirus. Now, obviously, as we all know, Dwight Howard unfortunately had one of his children's mothers pass away during the lockdown, so of course our condolences and our prayers still go out to him, but he was also really concerned that by the NBA returning, it was just going to be a huge distraction from this social justice reform that, of course, is one of the main concerns in our world today. Dwight was apparently pretty vocal in the fact that he really feels like now is the time that we all need to be focusing on this movement and trying to create a positive change. And he really just felt that the NBA returning would be a big distraction. So he even went so far as to say that if the NBA does return, he is not sure if he himself is actually going to be playing and going to be returning. Now, obviously, that is his right. There is so much going on right now that if a player does not feel comfortable for really any case, then he does not have to return. That is, the NBA has already said that. They've already made that very vocal. So it's going to be interesting to see if the NBA does return, if Dwight Howard decides to sit out, because for me personally, I think it would be pretty crazy to see a guy like Dwight Howard, who was really having such a great season, really rejuvenating his career, really being a big part with this Lakers team, not end up playing, especially because he was going to have a chance to really win a championship, and we all know that's one of his main goals. But of course, with everything going on in the world right now, there are much more things that should be at the concern and at our main concern. Of course, Dwight Howard has a lot of concerns over the NBA returning, as a lot of these players do. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it plays out. However, personally, if I had to go out on a limb here and take a guess, I would assume, and I would say that if the NBA does return, I personally think that Dwight would come back and use the NBA as a platform, like LeBron James was saying, to even raise even more awareness for positive social justice reform. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Now, obviously, as we are all well aware, if the NBA does return, it would be on July 30th. But will teams get some time to get some practice games in? That was a big concern, I know, for a lot of them. A lot of us fans were curious about it. We hadn't really heard much, but now, according to Mark Stein, on Twitter at least, from July 9th through July 29th, teams are apparently going to be getting 3 scrimmage games to be able to practice, get some kinks out, and of course get back into game shape, which I of course think is extremely necessary. So I think this is something that they definitely need. If the season does return, they are 100% going to need these 3 scrimmage games. So now we are hearing that they are going to have kind of a little bit of a mini preseason, again, from being able to play 3 scrimmage games from July 9th through July 29th, of course, all in Orlando, Florida, and Disney World. Now, besides the concerns that we already mentioned among some of the players among the NBA's return, there is some other concerns among the NBA's young players, including the Lakers' Kyle Kuzma, who are looking to seek some insurance in case they get injured in Orlando. We're going to talk about that, but before we do, I want to remind you guys again about our awesome deals that we are having right now in some of our Lakers gears. We've got these really cool Lakers. If you want these awesome sandals, which are 30% off, all you have to do is go to chatsports.com/Lakers sandals. You guys, definitely don't make sure to skip out on this awesome opportunity. It is summertime. We've got to still wear these face masks and stay safe. So make sure that you are staying safe, you are staying prepared and in style for summer, and rocking all things purple and gold. But moving on, let's talk a little bit about Kyle Kuzma, because he is seeking some insurance on when the NBA does return in Orlando. And he's not the only one, you guys. A lot of young players are concerned about this. Kuz went on The Undefeated earlier this week and discussed that even though he is so excited to play basketball again and to hopefully be able to start the NBA season again, he does want to have some insurance from his team. And of course, a lot of young players feel the same way. You know, Kuz is going to be a free agent next summer in 2021, but he wants to make sure that if the NBA does resume, which of course I think it is, that he has some assurance in case he does get injured, because like we've been saying, they're going to be moving pretty fast here, you guys. And the last few months, these players, for the first time in a lot of their lives, have not been playing basketball. They haven't been training like they're used to. They haven't been playing basketball for the first time in forever for most of them. And it's a really big thing to kind of go from 0 to 100. And Kuz mentioned in this interview, you know, that back in the German league, they started their season. They actually had 19 season-ending injuries. And he just didn't want that to happen, obviously, of course, but he just didn't want this to end his career if something were to happen. He wants some assurance from his team, as a lot of these young players do, which is, of course, smart, because, you know, going from 0 to 100 and putting that much stress on your body after not really training like you're used to and taking a big amount of time off could be kind of dangerous, you guys. So it makes sense that Kuz and other young players are looking for some assurance from their teams, which I'm sure moving forward they will definitely be able to work something out, because again, it makes a ton of sense. And of course, the Lakers want to make sure that Kuz feels happy and safe when he returns. And of course, Kuz wants to look out for his future, which is, of course, very smart of him to do so. So that is going to be it for today's video. Now, even though I know this past week a lot of fans were kind of nervous that maybe the NBA won't be returning, I still believe that it is going to be returning. I just think they're going to be able to use this platform as an even bigger stage to make positive social justice change. And I, for one, am very excited about it. Now, really quick, before we do end today's video, I want to do a little starting 5 prediction. Now, of course, we don't know if all the players are going to be returning, but I think that if the NBA, when the NBA does return, Lakers are going to have their starting 5, their normal starting 5 that they had this whole previous season, featuring LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Avery Bradley, Danny Green, and of course, JaVale McGee. And I, for one, think that is an NBA championship starting 5 for me personally. But let me know down in the comments below if you agree with me, or if you think the Lakers should switch their starting 5 when the NBA does resume in Orlando in just about a month, you guys. Super excited. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a double thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe here on Lakers Report. And until next time, Laker Hand is out. Bye, guys.